Shut up and sit down.
Hey, you scallywags! So concluding the coverage of Joytoy Warhammer 40k, let's start by getting these guys armed up with accessories. So we start with the Infiltrators and Brother Ruben with this. The backpack for the Infiltrators. It's actually pretty solid and light. The detailing in it is pretty good. I like how you can move these bits here as well. This is an extra bit for Brother Ruben specifically, the satellite. Just pop that on here. You can move around up to a point. And this, you just plug in the back there, into those two holes. See if you can remove it actually, if we just do... Yeah, so there. So here's a hand, right trigger hand, another holding hand, left trigger hand, open your hand. Set this off. This is a bit too small to go on there immediately, as you can see. Yeah, look. Look how stretched out that is compared to the new one. Right, so you shouldn't really do this. You should heat up your joints, really. But I'm using this. And yeah, so don't do what I do. Do heat them up. I just can't be arsed. So there. It does go on there. So I decided to risk it because notice Joytoy I've been using better parts recently, so yeah, seems to work okay. Yeah. So I've just done the same to this left hand, so I should be able to just pop that in like that. Bit tight, but yeah, it'll get used to it. Here is a gun in holster. Plug this in here. We've got this thing, these pouches. There's a few bits you can just kind of arm them how you wish. Here, there's an empty holster, which is a fake one. You can't put the gun in. Here's the gun if you want to use it. If you measure them up, doesn't quite fit in. So here, does fit in the hand nicely. And this rifle, can remove this, look. There you go. when covering this before it came out, TBG did speculate you can remove them, and you can. So well done, Joytoy, for that. And this can just be held in the hand easily too. You are. So I'll put this so you can hold that. There. Yep. Holds it quite well. And this can even fit on the hand like that. So not on the trigger. Still holds well. Right. Next one. Here we go. Brother Cyrus. So here's Brother Cyrus all geared up. He's the one that had the missing shoulder pad here, which I replaced with one of the other shoulder pads from one of the other ones. He's decided to make him a bit kind of bulkier. He's got a pistol and one of these, and he's got another pistol there. So he loves his weapons. Got him with 2 pistols. See this thing? I have to find a way to get that to fit in properly because it keeps popping out. So I might do a little modification to so it stays in there, the shoulder pad. Yeah, that's how I'll have him. Let's check the next. So Brother Sergeant Octavio here, Octavio, got him as a lefty. Although there isn't really a right hand bit there to hold it, so I've got the trigger and there instead, which isn't ideal. But I suppose you can point and give orders with that trigger hand. It could be like a pointy finger hand. Wish there was a little bit more variation in the accessories they've got. Because it's all the same, bar like one with a few differences. So let's go to here, Brother Pulo. So he's going to be more a gunslinger guy, this dude. He's got the missing shoulder pad now because it was a bit loose, but he has a shoulder pad underneath that left arm anyway. I think they all do. So I decided to use that for the other guy. He's just going to have 2 pistols, sort of light on his feet maybe. Silent killer. Let's move on to the Incursors. So a Brother Sergeant Romulo here. So this is the pack 4. The Incursors. A bit different here. This thing you can move just all the way around. Would have been good on a ball joint. So this, as with the others, just pops in the back. You'll hear it sort of, there's a little clicky thing there as you do it. And this gun, which is different to the Infiltrators, also has a removable mag. Again, really good by Joytoy. They don't normally do this. Knives. So these guys come with knives, all of them. Both are removable. Really good. I'll have these on this thigh, I think. And then I'll have a pistol on this side. So I'll do the same trick on these hands. Just go in there. Same with this. Right, I'll have him as a lefty. Now move on to this fella. Right, so Brother Varen comes with this extra bit here that he can hold. So I've just got him with a pistol and his knives. Next we've got Brother Remus. If you've got a team wielding knives, you've got to have one who's pretty knife friendly. So this will be his weapon of choice where he can use it. And then we move on to Brother Aurelius. So I've got him just holding his standard rifle as normal in the right hand. There. See them all suited and booted. So although each set have got pretty much the same accessories, you can pretty much make them individual by switching out what they use. Looking pretty good all kitted out here. So with Brother Cyrus here, did have a very loose shoulder pad here. So I decided to just open up a bit more using this. Again, not ideal, but just made it a bit bigger to fit in the dumbbell joint so that right shoulder pad stops popping out on me when I'm posing him, which has worked wonders. Oh, well, I guess it will pop out sometimes still. Take that out. So at least now I can pop it in and it feels a bit more secure. Guess it will just pop out if you're rigorously playing. but I had issues like with it popping in like this. Now it's all right. I have to say, in terms of playability and posing these guys, feels really good and solid to mess about with. Enjoying how they feel. The backpacks don't seem to weigh them back either, which is a good thing. This guy is shoulder pad there is missing, but I have requested a replacement. So these figures have really got a good center of balance. You can really, and then because of the large feet as well and big proportions, they really work when trying to get these poses. And it's amazing how, even though they're very bulky, they can still do some dynamic posing. Very, very impressive, the engineering of these figures and how they move. So, still not convinced with the pull-out arms on them, but it doesn't hinder it at all, really. I'll have to see how that holds up, though. So there's really no shortage of poses these guys can do. And at this scale, it's quite impressive. Particularly when you have other lines or even figures from Joytoy themselves, which can't do some of the things that these guys can. It's really quite impressive, again, just saying. And they really feel good in the hand. It's until you actually feel them, they feel like a better quality plastic. Don't feel cheap. They're not too heavy, but not too light either, so you are really playable. So you can feel quite confident doing a silly pose like this if I want. Little Spartan kick. And he holds up. Again, I thought maybe the backpacks would weigh him down to the back, but they don't seem to be a problem. So very, very impressed with these guys. So I decided to get a few different figures from a few different scales and see how they fare against them. These are supposed to be 1/18 scale, but on the larger side. They aren't as large as they should be when it comes to the lore, but they are bigger than your normal 1/18. So I've got a whole load of things we can just check against. We'll start off with the far left there in the background. This here, Snark Mech, 1/18 scale from Joytoy, as you can see. So that is a lot bigger than them, but they are like quite large still compared to the figure inside. And we've got 1/12 scale figure here, so 6 inches. Cyberpunk Robin from V-Toys. Brilliant figure. You can see they're just above the waist compared to that figure. Go on to their big brother here from McFarlane Toys. Intercessor. 7-incher here. And again, so about halfway the waist. And there's a little miniature I painted against them too, so you can see how they fare. The same proportions as the miniature. Bulky look. And then go on to Master Grade Barbatos. It's about the same size as the Intercessor. So again, about to the waist really. Just under these guys. And let's see the Warthog from Halo. Jazzwares. No, that was a silly idea. I'm going to see how they scale against that really, but there. Here is Fear 2. So this is basically, yeah, like a 1/6 scale figure. Huge. It's 1/18 though. Obviously it's got some mech for 1/18, but it's about the size of a 1/6 scale figure. And we'll get a few other comparisons in. So from Jazzwares, we've got Drift, I believe, on the left, Master Chief in the middle, and then that spider thingy, forgotten his name. Yeah, Master Chief, really actually a bit taller than these guys. Drift actually looks about almost the same size. Here we've got Snake Eyes on the left, Belarus from Spiro Toys in the middle, and then Mars Rider. So Belarus actually towers over them. Snake Eyes smaller, of course, and Mars Rider smaller too. So here we've got real grade crossbones on the left. These are the smallest of the real grades, but it's actually the same size. Then you've got an HG Gundam model kit on the right, a towers over them. We've got Mando there on the left. In the middle, we've got a retro Boba and a Praetorian Guard. These guys are a bit smaller, more sort of along the lines of your normal 3.75 inch figures. From here, toys, we've got Robocop on the left and Predator on the right. Robo in real life is supposed to be about 6 foot, Predator about 7, 8, I think maybe 7 more. So we've got Acid Rain Valdo on the right, and we've got Annex 2179 Hero on the left. Video of him is up on the channel, fairly new, go and check that out. So we've got Acid Rain, Luggins Donda on the right, and Camelbot Interceptor on the left, who towers just above these guys. Here we have Caleb with the Angels Born in Hell set, who's also looking after little baby Yoda in there as well. These guys definitely won't fit in there. Some Joytoy figs, some military dogs. We've got Saluk White Flame and Rigo the Risen. A video of him has recently been put up as well, so go check that out too. So the Saluk Golden Legion here are probably the closest from Joytoy that we've got to the Space Marines. A bit bulkier than normal, but more kind of realistic proportions. I think we'll go quite well with them, but obviously not as big as these guys. So in terms of how these guys scale, I was in the camp that didn't mind that they're a bit smaller than they're supposed to be. But now I've got them in hand, I wouldn't have minded if they were a bit bigger, because being just smaller than the Camelbot and the same size as some of the Fortnite figures, a bit surprising. You know, they'd be a bit more intimidating if they were slightly bigger. So hopefully the next wave they'll have them a bit larger than these guys. Right, let's try and get this guy on this capybara. See how comical that looks. Yeah. He's like a... It's like using a child's toy. We'll need to bring out vehicles and mechs and things that are going to fit these guys. Even though they're a bit smaller than they should be, they're still pretty big. What about this Warthog then? Let's try and get him in here. That is not going to work. Yep, way too big. Ah. So yeah, I mean, despite their size not being fully accurate, they are fitting into my universe, so it won't matter too much. But they would have been better a little bit bigger, I think. Having said that, these are brilliant figures at the end of the day. A few things I don't like they've got the holsters that are fake holsters and don't actually hold the guns, because I like to store my guns on my figures where I can. But from what I understand, it seems they're trying to be very faithful to the proportions and the look of the miniatures. Another thing is the shoulder joints that can pop out. I don't know how that will last, or if maybe it'll get worse over time. I'm trying to look for... I've got one figure that's got a weird foot where the joint bit sticks out a bit. I think it's this one. Yeah. Look, the hole there is a bit too shallow. So it's... the foot is a bit wobbly, and the leg is ends up being a bit bigger than the other. So I might have to drill that a bit more. So, yeah, see, that's supposed to go in a bit further, but It's just sort of a bit of a tip goes in. So those kinds of issues, there's little QC issues, are a bit annoying, but you know, the things you can get around. I don't know, maybe it's because I know Joytoy, I'm more forgiving of that. And the fact that they are just really great figures, I think, besides these small issues, but that is something they need to address when it comes to an international release. They can't really have that looming over them to the international market. So hopefully they'll crack down on these little issues in the time that the pre-orders will be received across the world. So if you have pre-ordered these, the pre-orders are done now, so yeah, hopefully you've secured yours. Again, besides these issues I've had, I think these are a brilliant set. These are unlike anything out there currently. They look amazing and feel, and really good articulation and really good just figures to be able to play about with and own. I will be keeping an eye out on the shoulder joints to see if they maintain their integrity over time, as I can see them getting loose as you are able to pull them out. I hope that maybe they just get rid of that in the future. It's not really necessary. It's a nice little feature, but if it does mean it gets loose over time, I'd rather them not do that. Having these two shoulder pads the same has worked out as a happy accident, but I have requested a replacement, so that should be sorted soon, hopefully, in the next batch. Hopefully they sort out those small issues in the next 6 months. Overall, really pleased with the set. Brilliant figures. I'll scale you later.